Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 24th of February and welcome to the newspaper analysis. So guys, in the today's video, we'll take up the entire analysis of the Hindu newspaper, as well as also we'll be seeing if there are some good relevant articles in the Indian Express explained section. Now, first of all, let's start with the overview of the newspapers and let's see that which articles will be important for our examination. Now, first of all, the Indian Express explained section, it is talking about the case against the Nawab Malik. So Nawab Malik, he is a minister in the Maharashtra and a case has been filed against him under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So basically his background, his political history, etc. is being talked about here. Now guys, this particular thing is not at all important for our examination. Okay. After that guys, the early hiccups for countries' digital currencies. Okay, so basically it is talking about the centrally banked digital currency. Okay, and multiple times already this thing has been seen. However, nothing new is provided. Clear? So please avoid this particular article. Then moving to the Hindu newspaper. Then in the Hindu newspaper, the first we will be taking up the text and the context section. Okay, in the text and the context section, the first article is talking about the draft India Data Accessibility and Use Policy 2022, which has recently been released. So we will be seeing that what this policy is and what it is all talking about. Then after that, the long wait to empowered mayors. Now this is article from the archive section. It means this article is an old article, but guys, this article is containing some of a very good insights with respect to the decentralization of the power. So we'll see this article. Then moving on, we'll come to the main Hindu newspaper. So this is the page number 1 of the Hindu newspaper. Here we can see that basically the arrest of the minister has been talked about. Clear? Then after that, India stand balanced, independent, says Russia. So we have already seen yesterday that what has happened. The Russia, it has basically recognized the independence of the two of the oblasts of the Ukraine, two of the provinces of the Ukraine. Russia has recognized their independence, that is into the Donbas region. So already yesterday we have seen. However, now India is not coming out very openly, neither it is criticizing the Russia very openly onto the Ukraine, nor it is supporting the USA clear onto the Ukraine. India says that this entire matter is to be dealt diplomatically, and Russia says that this is a very balanced kind of stand that has happened. Moreover guys, basically US sanctions over Ukraine won't stop S-400 delivery. This particular issue already it has been taken up. Then turnout etc has been talked about, nothing very much important. Now Delhiites will get 100% digital delivery of services before August 15th. So guys, this is actually a very good case study. Don't go into the detail, just headline is more than sufficient. It can be used as a case study in the answers related to the e-governance. So what is happening into the Delhi government is providing that all the services that a citizen can need from the government will be provided in a digital manner. You don't need to physically visit a government office because it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, it also involves a monetary cost. So the Delhi government is aiming to provide all the services digitally to the citizens. It will also be improve the experience of the citizen while interacting with the government. Now guys, very good thing has happened here. We can see here that out of here you can just see, okay, that out of the 425 services that are there, out of the 425 services that are there, 456 services are already being provided fine in a digital manner, and by this year entire services will be provided. So it could be a very good case study which we can use in GS2 as well as GS paper number 4. Then further moving on in this particular direction guys, then into this particular direction, in between much of important things have not come. Supreme Court reserves judgment on Tamil Nadu's 1 year quota law. So we have seen guys that the Tamil Nadu is giving an excess of the reservation. First of all, Tamil Nadu gives 69% of reservation, fine, okay, and secondly Tamil Nadu gives an additional reservation to the 1 year community. 10.5% additional reservation is being given. So whether it is constitutionally permissible or not, so this case is going on in the Supreme Court. However, the Supreme Court has reserved the judgment. So final judgment when it will come, we will be seeing this entire issue. Till then, no need to go into the day-to-day development that is going on, not important for the purpose. Then moving on into this particular direction, then guys, such kind of things are not at all important, fine. Now editorials, so first article is talking about Ukraine as Matryoshka's doll set of crisis. So guys, this is a kind of a opinion article onto the Ukraine crisis that is going on. However, However, we have seen this particular controversy multiple number of times already. Even yesterday, this entire Ukraine crisis we have seen. Now, guys, I will strictly be asking you that everyday editorials that will be coming, please don't follow it, because the situation in the Ukraine is very much evolving. It is a very much volatile situation. Everything, something new is coming. Just a couple of days back, Russia said that we are pulling the troops back from Ukraine. It was seen that the situation is becoming normalized, but then it recognized the independence of the two of the provinces within the Donbass. Okay, so the situation got completely changed. So every day the situation is changing. Fine. So please, but it is not very much required to see every day's article. Then the budget lacks the power to transform services. We'll see this particular thing. What this article is talking about, turning the trade winds. It is talking about the UAE bilateral agreement that has been signed by the India. People's endorsement, the DMK's victory is a vote of confidence for the record of governance. Okay, so this article, the political article, drafting a new constitution is impossible. So guys, we'll see this article. It is a good article. Find how that creating a constitution at this point of time might not be possible. A reductionist approach, very good link has been made between the social condition and the health. Very good article. We'll see this. Then the other articles with respect to the politics, etc., not very much important. Money laundering a global problem. We'll see this particular article. Clear. Then guys, the Supreme Court completes hearing on the one rank one pension. Okay, now we see basically the final decision is yet to come, and because of that particular thing we are not taking this particular thing. Clear. The hearing has been completed, but the final decision will be coming. The reservation, the judgment has been reserved. Now just I will be tell you about this one rank one pension, what it is. This, see, idea of one rank one pension is that, see, there are many of the people who are serving into the defense forces, the people are serving into the armed forces. Now if a person had got retired, okay, at a particular rank, let's say he got retired at the rank of the he got retired at the rank of the, let's say, lieutenant colonel. Okay, now let's say he had done a service for the X year. Okay, he will be getting some kind of a pension. Now suppose a person got retired at the same rank 15 years back. Okay, so basically your pension is calculated onto the basis of your last drawn salary. Obviously the 15 years back the salary might have been less. Today the salaries are more. So the person getting retired at the X rank after doing some X amount of services will get a different pension, and the person who retired 15 years back onto the same rank after doing same year of service, he might be getting some different pension. So one rank one pension. If you had got retired at a particular rank after doing a particular service, then all the members on that in that particular condition needs to receive the same kind of pension. This particular thing is going on. So the matter is there into the Supreme Court. Clear. Now the final judgment will be given by the Supreme Court. The hearing has been completed, so we will be seeing it detail whatever the Supreme Court will be talking upon. Then after that, moving on, the other articles not important. Clear. Fine. 9 held for stare against the coal projects. Okay, then this particular article, Milan exercise. Okay, we'll see what this Milan exercise is all about. Then guys, the Ukraine, the countries are just criticizing each other. The Russia says that it is USA's problem, USA says that Russia is showing heavy handedness, China accuses USA. So this is a cat fight going on, not at all important. Please don't see any article here. Then inflation has peaked, focused is on growth. So these are the comments with respect to the state of economy that is being made. However, substantial substances not there. And this is the sports page. So that is all about the overview of the important articles. Now let's see all these articles one by one in the detail. Now guys, first of all, taking up the GS quote for today. So today we'll be taking the quote from the Reynold Neighbor. Reynold Neighbor has provided that the man's capacity for justice makes democracy possible. Okay, because the man always aspires for the justice, the democracy is possible, the rule by the people is possible, where everybody has been given equal rights. Such kind of political system, democracy is possible. But the man's inclination to injustice makes a democracy necessary. Man has the capacity to strive for democracy, but at the same time, man also has inclination to carry injustice. Wherever the man will get an opportunity, he will use his power, he will abuse his power. So man is naturally inclined towards the injustice also. And because of this particular thing, the democracy becomes necessary. So a very good idea. We can use it in GS2, GS4, as well as into the essay. Okay, so that is all about the GS code for today. And now let's take the first article. Okay, but before that, the answers for the yesterday's MCQs. So the correct answer for the first will be A, and the correct answer for the second will be C. You can read the statements. Okay, guys, see, sometimes there could be some confusion, some doubts with respect to the MCQs. Okay, sometimes there could be some genuine mistakes that can also happen. If there is any doubt to you with respect to the MCQs, you can message me onto the Telegram. Okay, now taking up the MCQs for today. Okay, so the first MCQ, it is talking about the consumer price index. So there are certain statements. Please read these statements and answer the correct option. Then the question number 2, it is with respect to the Lokpal. So there are the certain statements. Please read the statements and mark the correct answer. So this is all about the today's MCQ. Guys, please pause the video, see what is the right answer, and please do write the answer into the comment box. It will not take more than 5 seconds, but if you write it, you will pause, you will read the question, and it will be revising your concept. It is very, very important, only for your benefit. Clear? So please do that. Now moving on. So taking up the first article. This first article we are taking from the Hindu newspaper text and the context section, and this article will be important for GS paper number 2, issues related to the privacy, and GS paper number 3, issues related to the Indian economy. We'll see how. Now, first of all, before going into this particular article, let's see the background of this particular article. Now, guys, the first of all, see, basically today the economies, the way our societies are working, we are generating a lot of data. Most of the processes, they have went online. Is it clear? Teaching is online, governance is online, work is online, entertainment is online, everything is online. So a lot of data is getting generated. Now, guys, when we talk about the data, there could be the two types of data. There could be the personal data, and then there could be the non-personal data. Now, what is first of all the personal data? Personal data belongs to a particular person's identity. For example, my let's say I am using any social media website. I am using Instagram. There my profile is there, my some of the details are there, my photographs are there. All this is my personal data. I am using Facebook. There I am sharing my thoughts, I am sharing something. So that is the personal data that I am generating. Clear? My health records, these are my personal data. Then there is the non-personal data. Now the non-personal data is something which is not connected with a specific person's identity. For example, let's say, what is the traffic that is there in the Connaught Place from 8 to 9 p.m. How many number of cars are coming? Okay, so what is the traffic? The data with respect to the changing weathers. Okay, and many such kind of data are there. These data don't specifically belong to any one person. So such kind of data is the non-personal data. Now, guys, as the government is carrying many of the activities, what happens? Government is collecting a large number of personal data as well as non-personal data. Now the proposal has come that this particular non-personal data government can sell to the private organizations for a money. Is it clear? Now this non-personal data is being proposed to be commercialized in India. Fine. So for this particular thing, the policy has come. Let's understand first of all what is this particular policy all about. Now, the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, MeitY, it has released the draft India Data Accessibility and Use Policy 2022. Fine. What it has released? The draft India Data Accessibility and Use Policy 2022. What it will permit? It will provide the license and the sale of public data, or that is the non-personal data, by the government to the private sector. Now see this particular thing, that we are actually trying to become a $5 trillion economy, and while we try to become the $5 trillion digital economy, selling of the public data or the non-personal data will be a very important component of the government policy. Now in this direction, the Economic Survey of 2019 also in the chapter number 4 has provided that the government can get a lot of commercial benefit by the data exploitation. We can share the data, fine, with the other organizations. This is something that was explored. Now, guys, first of all, today if we see, there are large number of problems, large number of bottlenecks into the data sharing and data use. Number one, there is no body first of all, there is no body, there is no policy with respect to the selling of public data or the sharing of the public data. Enforcement agencies are not there. Is it clear or not? So therefore now we are trying to bring a law here. So what we are coming out with we are coming out with the draft data accessibility policies. Now in this particular policy will be applicable to the all the sites of all the types of the non-personal data, informations, etc. Now within this particular new policy, it has been provided that certain organizations and bodies will be created. First of all, there will be the India Data Office that will be created under the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Now this particular body, that is the India Data Office, will be responsible for the management of all the datas. Okay, all the datas will be managed by this IDO. After that, there will be the chief data officer with the every government entity. See, within the government there are the government departments that are there. Clear, there are the state government. So every of the government entity will be having their chief data officer, which will deal with the public data or the non-personal data that entity is having. After that, there will be one more body, that is the India Data Council, that will be created. This India Data Council will be a consultative body with respect to the standardization of data. Okay, what type of data to be shared, what type of data is not to be shared. Okay, so what will be the patterns of data, all these standardization will be carried by the India Data Council. Now the policy provides that first of all, by default the data will be open. By default there will be the open data. Clear, maximum of data can be shared, but there will be certain of the negative list of the data sets also. Now the negative list is that type of data which is very confidential type of data and which cannot be shared. Is it clear? So some of the data which contains some sensitive information with respect to the defense establishments, etc., that data cannot be shared. So this is something that the government is proposing. Now guys, what are the challenges that are coming in this particular direction? What are the challenges in this particular direction? Number one challenge that is there is that, guys, up till now India does not have the data protection policy. We don't have the data protection law. Now our data protection law, it is being finalized, it has not been passed. In this particular thing, let's say that if the data gets abused or if the data gets misused, how the accountability for such particular thing can be tagged. Moreover, guys, understand this particular thing, that the privacy of the individuals can get impacted. How the privacy of individuals can get impacted? See, first of all, sometimes there is the personal data. See, there is a personal data, then there is public data. Is it clear or not? Now sometimes what happens when the public data is there, now even the public data is many a time generated from the personal data, but what happens, there is the anonymization of the data that can be carried. Is it clear or not? There is some of the data, let's say there are 100 peoples. Okay, now 100 people, out of the 100 people, 50 people got the A type of disease. Is it clear? Then out of that, out of the 110 people got the B type of disease. Okay, then the 20 people got the C type of disease. Now this who is getting which disease? Okay, Mr. Ram is getting A disease, Mr. Sham is getting B disease. It is a personal data. Now from this personal data, a public data can be generated. What we can do, we can generate a data set of the disease prevalence in India. Which disease is how much prevalent in India? We can we can generate a public data from even this personal data. Now guys, how to make sure that basically the citizens' right to privacy is not being violated? What we'll do, we'll go and we will anonymize this particular data. So basically the personal records, the names, the age, the sex, they will be hidden off, they will be striked off. Is it clear? So what will happen, sometimes the personal data through the anonymization is converted into the public data also, but this anonymization process can be reversed back and the real identity of the person can still be recovered by making out some by using some algorithms, by identifying some patterns, etc. So even from the public data you can go and create pattern and can get some personal data. In that particular capacity, what will happen, the privacy right will be violated. But for protection of the privacy from the data, up till now we don't have the personal data protection law in India, so this will bring a kind of a problem. Clear. Then the next thing is that basically this policy bypasses the parliament. Okay, it has not been passed by the parliament, rather it has been released by the ministry. Okay, so this particular thing might be having certain kind of a problems. The consultation is the debate is not there, discussion is not there, consultation is not there. After that, there is also the issue of federalism that is there. Now the state governments, if they want, they are free to adopt the portions of this particular policy or the policy as a whole, but how much freedom actually will be given on to the ground, that is something which is to be seen. So these are, guys, all the issues in this particular direction. I hope that you have understood all this particular article, a very good article. Please do keep it in your mind. And now we'll be moving to the next article. Okay, please download this PDF. Okay, this PDF is freely available on the Telegram channel, and you can understand it in a more better way. Now, moving to the second article, the long wait for empowered mayors. Now, this article will be important under GS paper number 2, the decentralization of power. Decentralization, it will be important. Okay. Moreover, it will also be important in GS paper number 1, urban development. Urban development. Now, what this particular article is talking about, see guys, this particular article is talking about the role of the mayors, okay, or the elected political leaders of a city. Now see, the article, it is providing that actually today our cities, they have become very big in number of population, in number of economic role that they are playing. Even the economic survey of 2017 and 18 had provided that today one third of a population, 33% of population lives into the urban areas, and they produce 3/5 of the GDP. Okay, so very important role is being is actually being played by the urban centers. But today if we see the urban centers, they have a lack of capacity. Infrastructure is not effective there. Is it clear? Infrastructure is not there, basic amenities are not there, a problem of poor living condition, sanitation, crime, all these things are there. Now basically there we, here in the cities, we need to have the responsible leadership, and actually the elected mayors could provide an effective leadership. But what has happened, we, many of the cities, most of actually the urban cities, big metropolitan sites, cities, they are not having the provision of the elected mayors. Is it clear? Whatever the municipal powers are, fine, they are basically being wielded by the officers at the rank of the IAS officers. Now you know the IAS officers, they are not elected, and because they are not elected, they don't have a direct accountability to the public also. So basically it has been provided that when we see the big and thriving urban centers, for example the city of New York, the city of Paris, in the New York, Paris, there are the elected mayors who are responsible for the entire operation or entire responsibility of the development of that particular city. But in India, what had happened, the position of mayors has not been properly utilized. Most of the urban cities, they don't have any provision for elected mayors. It has been provided that basically the chief ministers often see the mayors as a potential threat, because these mayors, they can become the charismatic leaders, they can become the empowered leaders. Let's say the mayor of a very big metropolitan city, if he is there and if he has improved the condition, everybody will be praising the mayor only, and the chief minister's charisma might go down. So therefore the mayors have not been encouraged into the India. What had happened, the direct election of a mayor has been replaced with the indirect system, where the IAS rank officers are actually ruling the municipalities. This is provided. Now it has been provided that many of other states, such as the Tamil Nadu, they have not given any power to their urban local bodies. It has been provided that 64th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992 identified 18 local level function that has to be devolved with the urban local bodies. They pertain to the planning, economic, social development. But the Tamil Nadu had given very less number of subjects to their urban local bodies, just 9. Okay, so the state governments, they are not focusing on their urban development, they are not empowering the urban local bodies, they are not bringing the conditions for the direct election of the mayors, and they are not empowering the mayor. It has been provided that World world around, the mayors have played a very important role. Okay, into the particularly climate change. Fine. Now into this particular direction, the example of mayor of Paris can be given. Fine. Anne Hidalgo. So Anne Hidalgo assumed the leadership and provided that all the roofs into the city of Paris, they needed to be converted into the green roofs. They needed to be converted into the green roofs with having the plantations, tree cover, green cover, etc. Clear? So this is something that was very good, and the entire world, this particular thing was appreciated. So such kind of thing, such kind of limelight, if it should not be taken by the mayors, and therefore the situation position of mayors is not being strengthened in India. Then it has been provided that the annual survey of Indian city system A6 2017 had provided that the 23 cities across the 20 states, fine, they found that 33% of the medium and large cities with the provision of directly elected mayors were there. Only 33% of the medium and large cities have the provision of elected mayor, but mega cities don't have any provision for elected mayors. Now it has been provided that now we are aspiring to achieve the sustainable developmental goals. Under the Paris Agreement, there are the climate goals that are to be achieved. Then the UN Habitat New Urban Agenda is there. As per the UN Habitat New Urban Agenda, the urban spaces need to be made more livable. The ease of living is to be improved, and for that particular thing we need to have effective leadership. And who can provide effective leadership? Elected mayors. Is it clear? Because they can be held directly responsible to their actions. So therefore this is something, a reform that India needs to go forward with. That is all about this article. Now we'll move to the next article. Money laundering, a global problem. Okay, and here we can see that a minister has been arrested for the money laundering case. Now guys, first of all, before going into this particular article, let's see some of the background. So guys, this background goes like this, that from past few days, again and again we have discussed the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which is coming into the news. Now first of all, when we talk about the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, under this particular act, the Enforcement Directorate, Enforcement Directorate is given the power that they have to nab the people who are accused of money laundering. What is money laundering? Money laundering is a process of converting the illegitimate money, dirty money, as a rightful money. So money that has been earned by corruption, the money that has been earned by criminal offenses, that money will be converted through a complex process, and it will be shown that it is a legitimate money that we have earned. Is it clear or not clear? So this is something, fine, it is something that will be done. So into the money laundering, what happens? First of all, the money will be placed into the banking system through the small packets, through the small parcels. Okay, let's say 1 crore rupee is there. 1 crore rupee will be converted into the 5,000 rupees small amounts, and they will be deposited into the different bank accounts. So the money will be placed, then the money will be layered. Is it clear? The money will be again and again, it will be just rotated from one bank account to another, then another account to then another account, then different altogether a bank, then some foreign bank, then again the domestic bank. So money will be just layered. Clear? Why so much layering is being done? So that from originally where the money came, that particular trail can be erased, and then this particular money will be integrated into the economy. Is it clear or not? This particular money will be invested, let's say, in some of a legitimate business. This business could be a grocery shop, it could be a saloon, it could be a restaurant, it could be a anything, right? It could be anything. So that money will be introduced into a legitimate business, and then it will be shown that this business is making the profit. What had happened? Now the money that is coming, it is from a legitimate activity, and the money has become clean money. So this is the process of money laundering. And for the money laundering, we have the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Fine, if such kind of process is being carried, the person can be arrested for that, and Enforcement Directorate carries this particular entire process. Now over the past few months, it has been said that it has been accused that actually government is using the Enforcement Directorate and the Prevention of Money Laundering Act to target some of the political leaders, particularly from the opposition party. So the ED and the PMLA are being misused. This particular allegation has been made, and now we can see that one more person has been arrested under the money laundering charges. Now as this particular contention is coming, now what has happened? The government has clarified their viewpoint. The government has clarified their viewpoint in the Supreme Court. Government has provided that today the corruption in the high offices is the major facilitator of money laundering. Corruption is there. Through corruption, the money is earned and then that money is to be cleaned. So the money laundering is happening. According to the government, it has been provided that today, under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, the cases involving 67,000 crore rupees are pending. This much amount of cases are pending, and it has been said that actually very small number of cases are taken up for the investigation under the money laundering in India. If we compare it with other countries, for example the UK, more than 7900 cases have been taken here, US 1532, China 4691, and into this particular matter. And in comparison to that, very less number of cases in India are being filed under the money laundering. So here we can see that here it has been provided that just 111 cases were taken in 2015-16, and now in 2020-2021 981 cases have been taken up. So compare the 981 cases with this 7900, 1500. Is it clear? So it has been said that still in India very less number of money laundering cases are taken up. Moreover, it has been provided that according to a report by the United Nations, the proceeds of crime which is being laundered, the money coming from corruption, crime, and when they are being cleaned, it amounts to nearly 2.1 trillion dollars, which is around 3.67% of the global GDP. So much quantum of money is being laundered. So therefore, nabbing the people here becomes very much important. Now the people who are caught of money laundering, what they do, they go to the small nations, find with which India is not having the extradition treaty, and they buy the citizenship there and they are living there. Now, what is extradition treaty? Extradition treaty is, guys, a formal agreement between the two countries by which if a person had run to another country after doing a crime, we can call that person back. So for that particular thing, an extradition treaty needs to be there. So if a person has done crime in India, and let's say if he had run to USA, now bringing back this particular person from USA, we need to have an extradition treaty. So where these criminals after going for money laundering are running, those country where the extradition treaty is not there, so that they cannot be called back. So this is something that is going on. So that is all, guys, about this particular article, and now we'll move to the next article. Drafting a new constitution is impossible. So guys, recently what had happened, the chief minister of Telangana, though will not be using the name in our examination if a question comes, so the chief minister has provided this particular thing that the constitution of India, it is an asymmetrical constitution. Fine, asymmetrical, not into the way that the different states have been given a different power, but also into another way asymmetricity is also there, that the center has been given more power. Indian constitution is having the centralizing tendency, and because of that thing, many a time the state government's power is getting trampled upon by the union government. So it has been suggested that we need to draft a new constitution. Now this article says that drafting a constitution at this point of time is something which is impossible task. Why it is impossible? The article is not saying that legally it is impossible, but article is saying that the condition is something which might make it impossible, and I personally believe that the opinion provided here actually is the reflective of the present time. So I am very much convinced personally by whatever the points have been made. First point that have been made here is that basically when a constitution is to be designed, there are many of the processes that are needed to be there. Clear? First of all, it has been provided that the spirit of persuasion needs to be there. When a constitution will be designed, a lot of persuasion will happen. Clear? Many people have to compromise their self-interest. Many of the people have to accommodate other people's viewpoint. So persuasion needs to be there. Accommodation and tolerance. Accommodation of the other interest needs to be there, and the tolerance of the other viewpoints needs to be there. So persuasion, accommodation, and tolerance, these things need to be there. But into the present societies, these things are very, very low. You can see. Now here the examples have been given. It has been provided that when we talk about the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was fighting to ensure the rights for the depressed classes. Clear? He was fighting for the rights of the depressed classes. Now if you know, actually into the Congress party at that point of a time, there were many of the leaders who themselves were from the high caste. Is that clear? The Constituent Assembly of that particular point of time was dominated by the Congress members. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar but still was accommodated and he was made as the chairman of the drafting committee. So why Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was made as the chairman of drafting committee? Because of his talent, because of his knowledge. Is it clear or not? So still he was accommodated. Can you today think that because of just a talent, any opposition member or any member from some different kind of ideology will be accommodated? I doubt that that kind of thing can happen. After that, it has been provided that the constitution that was formed, because there was the Congress, there was even the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar accommodated. What happened? The rights of the majority and minority communities are balanced very well into the constitution of India. Very excellently the safeguards have been provided. Today if we see the nepotism, caste, they are playing a very important role. Today because of the caste, even the ward members are not being chosen. So how can we assume that a person from some of the particular caste will be made as the chairman or for drafting committee? It cannot happen today. It has been provided that actually, then the second thing comes that when the constitution was designed, the constitution came in existence after 2 years, 11 months and 18 days of hard work. During this time the members were working day night, day out. They are working. If even the 5 minutes were wasted at that point of a time, they used to come 5 minutes early the next day and used to complete their work. They were doing the consultations, they were doing the debate. Now you see today there is so much of ruckus, so much noise into the parliament. Every day the parliament is being disrupted. Little debate is there on in discussing so much of the issues. Can such kind of a mental bandwidth be allocated into the today's time? Hardly possible. Then second, it has been provided that the dissenters and the hardcore critics were also tolerated during the constituent assembly debates. But today, will the opposition be able to express their views completely? Will their views will be accommodated? It is not very much possible today. Second thing, guys, that when the constituent assembly of 1950s was there, that constituent assembly was created after the colonial rule, and actually these people respected the fundamental rights and they respected the freedom, they respected the rights, okay, of the people, and therefore a specific chapter was added. Today if we see the leaders, they are outrightly saying that rights are not important, we should not focus on rights, because we have just talked about rights we have become incompetent. Such kind of things are coming. So will the independent individual rights be respected? It is something which is doubtful. After that, today's constitution is talking about the sovereign socialist secular democratic republic, which gives power to everyone, okay, irrespective of their status. Okay, when we talk about the society, into the society we find that there are much of the particular interest that has come. Today your caste, your religion, your ethnicity, they have become so important. So whether such a kind of a fair constitution can be designed today, it is a doubtful thing. It has been suggested by the article. So that is all about it, and now we'll move to the next article. The budget lacks the power to transform the services. Now guys, this particular article, it talks about the money for the power sector, or the budget for the power sector, and more importantly than the budget for the power sector, it talks that how the power has to be a very important component in bringing the overall development. Now understand this particular thing, that union budget of 2022-2023 has demonstrated a clear intention that the investment will be prioritized for the clean energy as well as for the sustainable development, and it is also has to be done in order to achieve the promises of the COP26, where we have said that by 2070 we will be achieving the carbon neutrality, where it has been said that the share of energy from the renewable sources will be increased, and all these things. Now it has been provided that, guys, actually one analogy has been given in this article. Now the analogy goes like this, that there are two other important components also into the budget, that is the health and the education. Now it has been seen that we have witnessed an increase into the estimated budget of the health as well as education from the last 2 years. This particular thing shows that the intention of the government is positive, but at the same time, if we today see the health and education, they just share around 2% each of the total budgetary allocation. Is it clear or not? So basically here the budget, it shows the intention that the money is being increasing and these two sectors are actually important. But if you see the actual expenditure that has been there, it is very much less. A lot more attention is to be given to the health and education. Now it has been said that, guys, actually the reliable energy plays a very important role in both the health as well as the education. The delivery of health can be improved as well as the delivery of education can be improved if the reliable energy is there. The article provides that the 74% of the targets of the sustainable developmental goals, 74% of the SDG targets, they depend on to the reliable energy source. Today, however, in India, just 44% of the schools and 25% of the health sub-centers are sorry, 44% of the school student, 25% of the health centers, they are unelectrified. Fine, they are unelectrified. They have not been connected to the electricity grid. After that, government, it has been provided that today we are talking about the energy transition. For the success of the energy transition, what we need to have, we need to go forward first of all the universal electrification, and particularly the electrification of the schools and health facilities need to be there. And more importantly than the electrification, there is also needs to be the reliability of the electricity and the power. Reliability in terms of numbers of hours of uninterrupted electricity, that is there. Fluctuation needs not to be there. Such kind of thing has been provided. Now the article provides this particular thing, that article provides this thing that while we need to provide the reliable energy, we also need to work on the integration. Clear? Just only by one way electricity reliability and electricity continuity cannot be provided. The example has been given. For example, the Assam, they had come out with their energy vision document, which provides that the electricity and development are linked, and they had provided that the electricity's generation, development of the electricity and energy needs to be applied in tandem with the solar energy policy 2017. So another, the energy through other avenues, it is to be developed in tandem with the solar energy. So basically what we need to do when we are talking about providing the reliable and uninterrupted energy, we need to bring the different strategies at one place at the same time. Clear? Solar, renewable, conventional, non-conventional, thermal, coal, everything needs to be consolidated in one particular kind of a setup, and from that we need to ensure that the electricity, reliable electricity energy is being provided. After that, it has been provided that innovative coordination and financing mechanism also needs to be there for the success. So this is something that has been provided. After that, to provide the reliable energy for the health center as well as to provide the reliable energy to the health center as well as to the schools, the responsibility needs to be on the government agencies. There needs to be centralized decision making entity, and on that the responsibility needs to be put down. Or the same way within the state also, there needs to be some decision making agency whose responsibility is to provide electricity here. The responsibility should not be made on to the individual facilities. Fine, this is something that has been provided. After that, the allocation of fund is very much crucial for such kind of thing. Okay, so this is, guys, the article which is talking about that how the power happens to be a very important facilitator for the development. This is all about this particular article. Now we'll move to the next article, a reductionist approach. Now this particular article, it is providing that how government's focus on the health needs to be changed. So therefore it will be important for GS paper number 2, social justice health. Now, what this article is providing, it provides that actually over the years, government focus on the health has a little bit changed. Earlier, the government was just focused on the maternal and child health and infectious diseases. For a very long after the independence, the maternal, child health and infectious disease were the focus. After that, guys, what happened? Government started to shift their focus. After that, government started to shift their focus onto the non-communicable disease, chronic illness, okay, which were increasing because of the lifestyle changes that came. Okay, so this was a second focus that was made. Fine. After that, guys, what happened? Actually, the focus that was made, it was made onto the individualistic policy. Okay, so individuals were focused with respect to providing them the good health care. Clear? Today we are just talking about the things such as that there needs to be better management, there needs to be more infrastructure, more hospitals needs to be there, wellness centers need to be there, lifestyle interventions need to be there. Clear? All these things we are talking about. Now the article provides that nobody is talking about the social and health relation, social condition and health condition. A case study has been provided from the Netherlands. Now the Netherlands in 2007 decided, okay, the Minister of Health of the Netherlands decided that today in order to improve the population health, societal health, we will try to study the interrelationship between the health and other factors such as the economy, housing, social cohesion, environment, how the societal condition, how the conditions with respect to the housing, environment, they interact with the health of the citizens. We'll need to learn that particular thing, and by that particular thing, over the period of time, the health outcomes into the Netherlands got improved also. Today when we talk about India, in India there is a policy myopia, policy short sightedness that is there. Today we are talking about tackling the non communicable diseases. Is it clear or not? But when we talk about tackling the non communicable diseases, our focus is just onto the individual health. Is it clear? What has happened today, just we are talking about the technical solutions, we are talking just about increasing the manpower, giving more money, bringing more infrastructure, but these kind of things have been inefficient. So these technocratic solutions, they are inefficient. Today what we need to take the social action. There are the social reasons that why certain type of people, why the certain type of people are getting more ill, why particular certain caste are more susceptible to a particular type of disease. Is it clear or not? How the poverty brings more infectious diseases. So the social and health are needed to be connected. This is something that has been provided here in this article. Clear? Now it is said that actually in India such kind of suggestion is many times ignored. It is said that we are a poor country, we are a developing country, we need to first focus on the core problems, that is the manpower is not there, infrastructure is not there, doctors are not there. These core problems we need to focus. Social and health relation is something which should be discussed into the developed countries, rich countries. But it has been said that no, such of idea is a wrong idea. Developing countries such as India can gain even more greater fine if the health and the social reasons are identified. Every rupee spent can provide much more benefit if the social conditions of health, the social factors which actually impact the health can be identified. So this is something that has been provided. Social health detriments are needed to be identified. Government need to conduct a study in this particular direction. Fine. So that is all about it. I hope you have understood it, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Turning to trade events, guys, this particular article is talking about the India UAE FTA that has been signed. Clear? However, the India UAE FTA we have already discussed on 18th of February at 25:57. This timestamp, the entire issue we have already discussed from the detail, and what will be the benefits that will be coming, everything we have discussed here. Fine. After this also multiple times we have discussed it. Okay, so the same thing has been repeated, nothing new is there in this article. If you have read it, just you can move on. If you have missed it, you can read it here into this particular timestamp. You will be getting it in the YouTube. Now moving to the next article. Milan to be held in Vizag from February 25. So guys, this Milan, okay, it will be important for our prelims examination. Now the Milan, it is a multilateral naval exercise that is hosted by the Indian Navy, and now the Milan 2022 is going to be held from this particular date. First of all, let's talk about a little bit about the Milan. Now the guys, this Milan, it is a biennial multilateral naval exercise. Biennial means it happens after every other year it happens. So for example, in 2020, after 2020 it will happen in 2022, then it will come in 24, then it will come in 26. So every other year, okay, once in 2 years it is held. This particular Milan exercise was incepted by the Indian Navy in 1995 at the Andaman and Nicobar command, and since then large number of countries have started participating into this Milan exercise. Originally when the Milan exercise was there, only 4 countries along with the India participated into this Milan exercise. Which 4 countries along with India participated in Milan? Number 1 was Indonesia. Clear? Number 1 was Indonesia, then the Singapore was there, third was the Sri Lanka, and fourth was the Thailand along with the India. So these countries participated in 1995 when it got started, and since then more and more number of countries are participating. This particular year 42 countries will participate in Milan exercise. 42 countries will be participating. USA will be joining this exercise for the first time. USA will be joining the exercise for the first time. And what will be the theme of the Milan exercise? Camaraderie, cohesion, collaboration. Again, I'll repeat, camaraderie, cohesion, and collaboration. This will be the theme of the Milan exercise this particular year. Some of the popular country that will be coming here is that France, Myanmar, South Korea, Vietnam, Russia, Iran, Israel, Saudi Arabia, even the USA. Okay, all these countries will be participating. In total, 42 countries will be there. So it will not be possible to remember the name of all the 42 countries. Is it clear? Now, what will be the emphasized into this Milan exercise? The operational skills will be shared. Okay, best best practices will be shared. Fine, naval procedures will be shared, doctrinal learning will be shared. Fine, how the different doctrines they can imbibe in each other. Okay, professional interactions will be carried. Now when we talk about, guys, the Milan, fine, it happens every other year, but sometimes it has not been able to held because of certain reasons. For example, in 2001, 2005, 2016 and 2020, these are the years when the Milan exercise was not able to be conducted. In 2020, what happened? The COVID-19 pandemic came. Is it clear or not? So just you can read about it. Okay, so this is all about the Milan exercise. Fine, I hope that you have understood this particular article. So that is all, guys, about this particular article. Okay, and with this we come to an end to the today's newspaper analysis. Okay, meanwhile, a very good morning to everybody who had commented: Pallavi, Vetu IAS, Nisha, Daman, Sandeep, Prabha, Sumitra, Nandan, Jagannath, Supriya, a very good morning to everybody. Okay, I hope that this article is clear. So that is all for today. Now we'll be meeting tomorrow. Till then, guys, please do take care of yourselves and please do answer on the MCQ questions. Okay, it if you'll answer only, then this particular initiative can be continued. Otherwise, the continuation of this particular initiative might not be possible. Okay, so please take the benefit out of it. So that is all for today. Thank you so much.